just mind blown thinking about last night. I'm just so pumped up about it. It was such an amazing win at the Wells Fargo Center. Just an electric night for the city of Philadelphia as a whole, just as a city and a fan base with Deshaun Jackson, Allen Iverson, Meek Mill, Zach Ertz, everyone just on the sideline, on the court side. It was just such a great bonding moment as the city, and just the way it all played out, it was so ridiculous and so phenomenal and just awesome. Just awesome. But let's talk about some things here as the series played out for the 3 games so far and kind of looking ahead. I think we all heard the stat now that 75% of teams who win Game 3 end up winning the series. But as great as that is, as awesome as that sounds, Game 4 can come around. It could be the Toronto Raptors. It's a 2-2 series heading back to Toronto, and the whole entire script is flipped. Now, I will say this. The Toronto Raptors look defeated, in my opinion. We're going to have to see how Game 4 plays out, of course, but right now, it's like they have no answers. It's Kawhi Leonard, a little bit of Siakam, and outside of that, they have nobody else. And Nick Nurse is getting outcoached by Brett Brown. It's as simple as that. He had no answers. No answers. This was a huge game for both coaches for their chess match. This game, Game 3, was so crucial to both of these guys. And as a Sixers fan, I was sitting there waiting to see what Nick Nurse would do to attack what we did in Game 2 and then see how Brett Brown would react. But Nick Nurse didn't even really have that chess move back. He didn't have a great adjustment back towards the Sixers and what they did in Game 2. Now, Brett did some things to play some mind games because in Game 2, we saw Tobias on Marc Gasol, we saw Embiid on Siakam, and early in this game, you saw it flip-flopped where Siakam had Tobias on him, and he was just playing mind games with some matchups, and then things flipped back around, and I have to give credit to Brett Brown. What he's done so far, I would have never expected it to be to this extent, and he really is out-coaching Nick Nurse so far through the first 3 games. So, the Raptors, by the way, are favorites in Game 4. And it's a tough task. Listen, coming into this 2 games at home, I can't sit here and demand the Sixers to win both games against a team like the Raptors. This isn't the Brooklyn Nets anymore. This isn't teams that you should just dominate. This is a good team that's in the second round of playoffs who are capable of winning basketball games with a really good talent like Kawhi Leonard. It's tough for me to sit there and say, I demand both wins at home. I'm not saying I want them to lose Game 4, but it's understandable if we were to fall in Game 4. I can't believe Vegas are making them the favorites, though. That's a little crazy, in my opinion. Are they going to mess up now 2 games in a row? Because they were favorites last night. And I said to myself, that's a little odd. That's a little weird. And it was a, 20-plus point blowout. So, interesting to see Vegas go with that. But listen, it looks to me like the Raptors don't know what to do. See, Kawhi got his, and everyone's talking about how great Kawhi has been and how efficient he's been. And I've been getting ripped apart. Bro, how can you say that Ben Simmons had a good job defensively when he drops 35 points and shoots over 50%? Because it's more than that. It's more than just stats. Do you know why we had so much success in that fourth quarter run after the Raptors cut our 18-point lead to 8 at the end of the third quarter? Kawhi needed a rest. Kawhi needed a break. Ben Simmons made that dude work. There weren't easy buckets. There weren't easy drives to the lane. There weren't easy shots. Kawhi Leonard was making tough shots. Kawhi Leonard was making things happen on that pick and roll, getting to a spot. But Ben Simmons and this entire defense was making him use so much energy. He needed a break. He needed rest. And when that rest happened, bang, the Sixers made an awesome, unbelievable run. And you also have to credit Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has been the ultimate leader. And I think he's actually thrived because in Game 1, he was on Kawhi. Well, now he doesn't have to worry about that matchup as much. Defending Kawhi can change your entire mentality through a basketball game. Now Jimmy Butler doesn't have to worry about that to the extent that he was in Game 1, and he's a little bit different swag to him. He is being a damn leader, defensively, offensively, in the locker room, just teaching these young kids. Jimmy Butler has been a dog, a difference maker to this locker room and culture. He has been something truly special. And I'm so proud of this game and this team. Going back to Brett Brown, Game 1, Furkan Korkmaz is in the mix. I couldn't believe it. It's night and day from Game 1 and Game 2 and 3. I don't know how it's to that extreme, but it is. In Game 2 and 3, we solidify a bench. We solidify certain rotations that are working. And how about our bench now? Remember last year, and I know we got all pumped with TJ McConnell helping us win a Celtics series. Well, not a Celtics series, I'm sorry. Oh, I wish. A Celtics game. We don't see TJ McConnell. He's not good enough for what we're trying to do. Mike Scott, serviceable bench player. Craig Monroe, listen, it's working in this matchup. I'm not going to try and sit here and tell you he's a great bench player, but it's working right now. But he's a veteran guy who's been in this league, who has league experience. And it's working right now. James Ennis, another guy who is a veteran player who's been around. And that's where it ends. 8-man rotation, that's where it ends. We're not going into the Bowdens, the TJ McConnells, the Jonathan Simmons. That's where Brett has improved. The use of the bench as well. On top of our bench just competing and working. That's what it comes down to, really, though, is the Sixers are working 7,000 times harder than the Raptors. And when Kawhi's off the floor, they're a mess. Kawhi Leonard is the team. I think we're starting to find that out now, which is interesting. Because we've praised the depth of this team, the Raptors team. We praised how deep they are. We praised how much they can perform with that bench. Siakam, Marcus Gasol, some of their starters. We praised how deep they were. And it seems, well, outside of Kawhi and a little bit of Siakam, what's going on? Now, this doesn't mean Game 4 the Raptors can't figure it out. It doesn't mean in Game 4 they're not going to find a way. Because realistically, they're going to have their backs against the wall. They know going down 3-1, even though they would be going back to Toronto, being down 3-1 is literally almost death in the playoffs. So they're going to come out blazing hot. Coming out firing. And they have to. They know how brutal 3-1 is. They would know reality at that point. And I will say this, even dating back to last year with Brett Brown. Brett Brown made the adjustments too late. Too late in that Celtics series. Maybe this is Nick Nurse. Maybe he's going to find it just a little too late, but find it. Who knows? We have to wait and see. But he hasn't impressed me. He has not impressed me. He seems like Brett Brown of last year right now. And Brett seems to be a little bit more experienced after learning from last year. You can't not give Brett credit. You just can't. You can't not. Let's go with this. You have to give Brett Brown credit with what he's doing. From bench, from game plan and scheme, from defensive intensity, to giving the ball to Jimmy Butler to run the points at times with the pick and roll. Same with Tobias. Brett's done a hell of a job. And Sunday, the game's so far away, it's unbelievable. Come on now. But Sunday afternoon, I expect another riot out of the fan base with the chance to go up 3-1. Who's going to step up? Who's going to take it? Who's going to be the one? I said the same thing after last game. Who's going to step up? Who's going to take it? Who's going to be the guy? Well, I think there were multiple guys last night. Obviously, the one being Joel Embiid with the 33 and the 5 blocks and the windmill dunk that made me lose my damn mind. Jimmy Butler stepped up. J.J. Redick knocked down some shots. Ben did his job on the defensive side of the floor. James Ennis did his thing. Coming off the bench. Hustling. Grabbing boards. There were a lot of guys that did it. It was a whole team effort, Brett Brown. Whole team effort. Can we do it again? Can we throw another haymaker at the Raptors? Right now they look defeated. You can't deny it. They look defeated. Doesn't mean they are, though. But they look that way. Sunday, 3:30. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Ben Simmons only had one turnover, by the way. One turnover with his 10, 7, and 7 stat line. Now, granted, you got to factor in that Jimmy Butler is primary ball handler at times, so he doesn't have the ball in his hands as much as he does during those games against the Raptors where he had an obnoxious amount. But he only had one turnover. And just this team as a whole is clicking on all cylinders. It's amazing. It's amazing. Let me know your thoughts down below on this game and just talking more on it. I can't get away from it. It's all I can think about right now. It was just such an awesome win for this city. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.